What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come to the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on Caitlin Clark, right? And Caitlin Clark, I want to talk about her marketability for Nike. Like, how marketable is Caitlin Clark for Nike, and what problems Nike will have. Like they need to find some solutions to marketing Caitlin Clark. And part of the problem, I believe, is the fact that Caitlin Clark is in a league that is number one. The league is like LGBT. It's a part of the alphabet mafia. Although she's not a part of it, you can see how even though the players don't want to acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is the face of the league, but you can see how they still attach themselves to the success that Caitlin Clark bring and the popularity that she brings to the league. For instance, if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark having so much popularity in the league, they these WNBA players would not have the leverage that they have now to go and say, pay me what you owe us, right? They wouldn't be able to do that because the ticket sales and stuff, before she got hurt, the ticket sales and everything was through the roof. It was garnering a lot of attention. And you can see now that the playoffs have started, ticket prices are dropping, attendance is down. Even the teams are not, you saw the Atlanta Dream, they didn't even move their team to a larger arena. They playing their playoff games in an arena that only seats 3,500. But still, still these young ladies in the league are still trying to capitalize on a popularity that is coming from Caitlin Clark, right? So, but let me get into, because Jason Whitlock made some good points about Caitlin Clark and what potential and value she could hold for Nike. But I think it's not so cut and dry because of her playing in the WNBA. So let's listen to what Jason Whitlock has to say about Caitlin Clark, and then I'm going to add some of my commentary and my comments to what Jason Whitlock said.
Will be as a shoe salesman. Caitlin Clark. Nike just used her. Trust me, they're going to come out with the Caitlin Clark shoes, I believe, in November. And she's going to sell a lot of Caitlin Clark shoes to a lot of little girls. But this woman is so valuable that they just said, you know what? We need you to sell these Kobe Bryant shoes too. She sold out these new Kobe's in hours. LeBron can't do that. No one can do that.
So, and that's true. Like if you look at the males, the guys in the NBA and their shoe sales, like nobody's really checking for any of those shoes. LeBron just came out with some new shoes, and I don't really like them. I know who else came out with some shoes. Now, Cade Cunningham came out with some new shoes, some nice looking shoes. But Cade Cunningham is not like somebody who's a household name. Like if you're from Detroit or if you follow basketball like myself, then you know who Cade Cunningham is. But he's not a household name. And Caitlin Clark is way more popular than Cade Cunningham, right? And on top of that, she did sell those shoes out like in a matter of, some people say hours and minutes, because as soon as they announced that she came out with these shoes, or Nike came out with these Mambas, like team with Kobe, those shoes sold out really quick. And that is the first time that I can say that I even talked to guys and they saw the shoe that they came out with, and they was like, oh yeah, I'll wear these. Right. I'll wear these shoes. I never really seen any, especially guys, say it about a female shoe that they will wear them. And part of the strategy, I think it was for Nike to come out with a shoe that will appeal to men and women. And like the coloring, like when you look at like certain women, when they come out with their shoes, they're tailored towards women, and that's a limited market. right? Men buy way more tennis shoes than women, but they come out with these pink, some they come out with most of the time pink shoes, or they'll come out with a blue. Somebody got a shoe called Blue. Um, it's a female name like Lady something Blue, right? But it's all marketed towards women, whereas though Caitlin Clark's shoe was more so neutral, like where she could set, like a man wouldn't feel bad or feel subconscious about wearing that shoe. So that's one thing. Then on top of that, let me just get back to some more what Jason Whitlock is saying though about Caitlin Clark.
Show me the man that can sell tennis shoes to women and men. Nike just proved with Caitlin Clark she can sell shoes to women and men. This is unprecedented. This is a culture shift. This is a type of woman king that we have never seen. I think all of this is actually a positive. I think it's going to give people the confidence that they needed and is necessary to stand up to a toxic, degenerate culture that's needed to be pushed to the side for decades. And it's finally being pushed to the side. And so you're seeing this power shift, this cultural shift, and people are upset about it. There are people that have made millions and millions of dollars being groupies for these hip hop athletes and for these hip hop rappers and just selling product from liquor to apparel with degeneracy. And that's all changing. People are.
All right, so he says it's all changing, right? So Caitlin Clark, she do have like the girl next door type of image, right? And that's good for her. That's good for Nike. But it's not so cut and dry because she's playing in the WNBA, and in the WNBA you do have, like I said, you got the LBG, like the Alphabet Mafia. You got that community. And they are not going to allow Caitlin Clark to separate herself from them, right? And it's evident in the way, like I said, like they're benefiting from her popularity already. And so you'll have players that, and it's already been seen, you'll have players that really go after her and try to sabotage her and really, really just try to make her job tough and, no cooperation. Like they don't believe in like the high tides raises all ships. It's not like that in the WNBA. And so it's going to be hard, like I say, to separate Caitlin Clark from the rest of the league, just because the rest of the league is not going to allow, they're going to try and prevent that from happening. But her image is something that I think that is very marketable. But it's just that the league that she played in is like they just have too many political causes. That's not like the WNBA. If you want to escape from what's going on in society, just for the couple hours that a basketball game is on, you may not have that opportunity because of some political cause that they want you to, that they want to put out in your face and stuff like that. That's why football got in trouble with the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, because they alienated different segments of their fan base. Some people don't mind having, they don't mind players taking a political stand. Some people use football, basketball, baseball. They use that as an escape from everyday life. When you come home from work, or once you turn off your local news, you don't want to have to listen to, whatever's going on in the news. That's your escape. So I'm not sure if they'll be able to do that with Caitlin Clark. Nike do need somebody else, like I said, to be able to, market and get their product out to people. She'll be the perfect person. But it's a lot of drama that comes with that league that she's attached to. Now, if for some reason she was playing in the NBA, or a player like her was playing in the NBA, She don't have tattoos. She's in a in a heterosexual relationship. Then that's everything that Nike can work with, because Nike is more, they're probably more conservative than a lot of people would think, because Nike don't want to alienate none of their, their fan base. They want to be able to market to everybody. With Michael Jordan, you could market to everybody because Michael Jordan was neutral when it came to political, when it came to political issues. And he kept quiet on a lot of, and he took flack for that. But I thought it was a great business strategy for him, and it was a great business strategy for Nike, because he stayed neutral and throughout all of those, whatever was going on in the news, he just stayed neutral. His job was to sell tennis shoes, sell merchandise for Nike, and Nike could do that. Now Nike has Caitlin Clark, and that's, that could be her job. But I'm not sure if the league will allow her to do that. Like jealous players around the league will allow her to do that. So that's what Nike had. And then on top of that, Nike has more competition coming up. Like Nike, as far as tennis shoes, other sneaker companies and other apparel companies, they blowing them out the water. But now Nike has to contend with online gambling, right? That's going to be the next competition for Nike, because they're just making so much money, with this gambling. And I think that gambling in the NBA or football, is just growing. And I think they're going to catch Nike as far as like how much they make, every year. So I think that's something that's on Nike's mind too. Nike want to be able to continue to make money and not lose money to gambling. So we'll see how that work out though. I'm gonna look into that some more. Like Nike right now don't have competition far as Under Armour, Adidas. I think their competition is the online gambling houses. So yeah, but let me know what you think about Caitlin Clark being able to help Nike grow, and will the WNBA allow Caitlin Clark to have the type of success that will benefit the WNBA, that will benefit Nike, and all parties involved, really. But that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.